What's going on, guys, and welcome back to the YouTube channel. If you're listening to this on Spotify, then welcome back to the podcast. So in today's video, I'm going to break down exactly why most people fail with their diet and regain the weight back after they've lost it. Now, there is a crazy statistic that's been in the fitness industry for quite a long time, and there are some studies to back it up. In terms of 95% of diets now fail. So when people lose weight, they will then regain it back in a 1 to 3 year period, which is pretty scary, right? So if you're actually embarking on a transformation and a diet, your chance of success is actually fairly minimal now. So obviously we want to be in this 5% of people that are actually successful with their weight loss journey and keep it up for the long run. Now, the fitness industry now and the fat loss industry is worth £60.5 billion. So the fad diets and the kind of weight loss companies out there are basically preying on you to fail with your fat loss, with your fitness, so that they can continue to make money off you. The Herbalifes, the Weight Watchers, all the other fad diets that there are. Now, I'm not saying that they're all bad. As you've seen in my last video, I actually started an experiment with my ketogenic diet, which has actually been going pretty well so far. So you can go and check that video out if you haven't already. However, we want to actually be successful with our weight loss and get to the position as to where we're not on another diet, we're not having to try and lose weight every single year, and we actually have complete autonomy and freedom with our fitness and with our weight. And you're going to do that by understanding maybe why you're failing at the moment and what you need to do at the start of your journey to ensure that failure is not an option. So let's get straight into it with the top 3 reasons as to why most people fail with their diet and regain the weight back after they've lost it. So the first one is a lack of understanding in terms of what happens after the diet. So people don't actually know what they need to do when they've initially lost the weight, if you actually get that far. So if I ask you at the moment, like, what is a reverse diet? What is a maintenance phase? What's a performance phase? What's pushing your calories up? You have probably not much understanding in terms of what I'm talking about, because we have to remember that just losing the weight is only a small part of the journey. Okay, losing the weight is just a part of a transformation to then push up your calories afterwards and get to a more lifestyle position where we actually can maintain the weight loss. And a lot of people don't understand that there is a bit that comes after the weight loss, and there is a bit that comes after you've got yourself out of that calorie deficit. So what I mean by that is, after you've lost a lot of weight, your body is going to be in quite a receptive position to weight gain. Your body's almost going to want to gain the weight back because you've completely changed your body's set point in terms of you've lost a lot of weight. So if we're not careful, after that post rebound is very likely. And I talk from experience on this, where I have messed this up myself and regained a lot of weight after losing some for my competition. So I know exactly what it's like, and I know that there has to be a lot of caution involved with that. If people understood that their weight loss or their transformation is not just going to be a 12-week or an 8-week period, it's actually going to be more like 5, 6 months, 12 months plus, then they'd have more chance of success. And this is why sometimes a lot of these 8-week plans or 12-week plans that get pushed out to people are actually setting them up for failure, because they're not getting people to understand that weight loss, weight maintenance, staying in shape for life is going to come down to a lot more than that. And this is why that we will always work with our clients for a long amount of time, so that we have got enough time to take them through the full transformation and not just see them fail afterwards. And anytime we've done a shorter program, be that for a photo shoot, we still make sure that we work with clients afterwards so that they can still get to that position of more food, less activity, less cardio, and actually understand fitness perspective instead of just being in this calorie deficit all the time. So that is the first reason as to why people struggle. There's no understanding of what happens afterwards, and there's just a lack of underpinnings in the journey. The second reason is going to be down to self-belief, the what and the how, okay? A lot of people struggle in terms of actually believing in themselves that it's possible to get to a position of being really happy with how they look and still having a really flexible lifestyle at the same time. A lot of people think that in order to look really good all the time, to have low body fat, to have a six-pack, to have a toned stomach, that you have to be really boring and not have a good social life. That's what a lot of people think. You look at someone in shape and think that person must live off chicken and broccoli all the time. That lack of understanding and that lack of belief is what holds a lot of people back, because if you actually understood that you can have a really flexible and enjoyable life while still being in really good shape, a lot of people would probably embark on a journey and actually put themselves through maybe some short-term suffering, understanding that in the long run they are going to be able to still look great and feel great all the time. And I speak from experience with this as well. I've been in shape myself for the last 10 years, even through injuries, even through setbacks, and that has come down to the fact, and I would like to think I've got a pretty flexible life. I go and travel quite a lot, go on holiday, I eat out pretty much every week. Yes, there'll be periods where where maybe I'm a little bit more focused on my nutrition and my training, but there'll be a lot of times where I'm more relaxed as well. And as I said, I've understood how to sustain a low body fat percentage while still being able to do that. Now, there is probably going to be a little bit of a compromise, and you're going to probably land somewhere on the scale in terms of maybe you're going to want to have a bit more of a social life, maybe drink a bit more, maybe eat a little bit more junk, and be happy with not quite sustaining the super low body fat or the six pack that you might be able to sustain if you have a little bit less of a social life and maybe don't drink quite so often and maybe don't eat out quite so often. So there's going to be a little bit of a compromise that you have to make, but I can absolutely assure you, and you again will probably be able to tell from a lot of the clients that we've worked with at FitLab, that you can absolutely enjoy a good social life and still have balance whilst being in shape. And our goal is to get clients to the position as to where they are able to maintain their physique on high calories. And a lot of our guys will get to 3,000 calories per day and still have a six pack. A lot of our girls will get to 2,000 calories per day as a minimum and still have a fantastic physique. And in that position, it's very difficult to undo your hard work and fall out of routine and fall off the wagon because your calories are in a higher position. And this goes back to my first point in terms of if people understood more about the journey and what's involved and the reverse diet and the performance phase and what comes after just the weight loss, then people maybe would have more self-belief in terms of what they can look like and still have the life that they want to live and be happy with that as well. And the last reason, and maybe the most important reason, is people don't have a big enough why to keep them in the game for long enough. Now, a lot of people, when they first get started, the reason that they want to get in shape, get a six pack, get leaner is maybe because they've got a holiday coming up. Maybe it's because they're getting married, something that's quite surface level. It doesn't keep them focused for long enough for them to stay in shape for the rest of their life. And possibly this is going to help you for the first 12 weeks, for the first 16 weeks. If you go into Ibiza and you want to look your best, you're probably going to do everything that's required to get there. You're not going to be able to stand in between a bride getting ready for her wedding. Again, there's a huge reason and there's a huge want to look good. However, what happens after that is people start to struggle because they don't have more of a deeper reason as to why they want to stay in shape. And if you don't associate a deep reason, a deep why as to why it's important to you, then again, you're going to struggle to actually stay in this forever. And your fitness routine is not something that should be seasonal, something that you have complete consistency with all the time. You don't want to be on it or off it. So when I talk about a deep why, this is you actually thinking about why this is important to you. So my why is pretty simple. Being a fitness coach myself and wanting to impact hundreds and hundreds of people and set an example, provide them with a source of motivation and inspire, it's easy for me to stay in shape and eat well and train because that's my why. Like, I want to set an example to my clients. I don't need motivation. I will train multiple times when I don't feel like it. I'll eat the right meal when I don't always feel like it. I'll say no plenty of times because I want to stay disciplined to my routine. And that's because my why is deep enough for me to be able to sustain that and to do that. You need to think about why your why is important. Is it because you want to set a fantastic example to your son or your daughter because you want to be the sporty mum, the sporty dad? Is it because you don't feel attractive around your spouse anymore and you want to make them feel more attracted to you? You have to think about it. If that's your why, harness it because it's going to keep you in this for long enough. So that's the most important thing you need to think about. Have a why, have a deep reason that's important to you as to why you want to stay in shape for the rest of your life, and write this down and understand that this is going to be personal towards you. So just to recap, these are the three biggest reasons as to why people struggle to stay in shape. The first one is going to be lack of understanding of what happens after the initial weight loss, just lack of understanding of the journey itself. The second is going to be a lack of belief that they can actually still look good and feel good whilst having a balanced and enjoyable social life at the same time, and that you don't have to be super boring to look good all the time. And the third one is going to be for you to have a deep enough why to keep you in this for the long run, to keep you doing things when you don't want to have actual discipline instead of relying on motivation, which is always going to be very, very short-lived. So guys, that is my three biggest reasons as to why people fail with their fitness journey. Hopefully this has provided you with some value. Hopefully you can go back over these three and make sure that you're not suffering with any of these at the moment. As always, make sure you hit the subscribe button. If you're enjoying this kind of content, please like this video as well. If you're on Spotify, make sure you follow for more episodes that will be coming up. And please drop me a 5-star review if you're enjoying the podcast as well. And guys, I will catch you in the next video.